my name's Elliot. I studied on the Innovation in Sound MA. I went to DBS before that as an undergrad, and I kind of started producing drum and bass as my main thing. And then kind of as I got more into production, kind of started experimenting with like different genres. But yeah, drum and bass was the big one, especially like coming to Bristol because the scene's so amazing here. And then yeah, so I make drum and bass with my brother, and we're called Dub Brothers as our thing. So we've been doing that for about 5 years. So my project was to do with producing music, collaborating with people that are deaf. So it was involving members of the deaf community and myself and other hearing producers and trying to get them to collaborate together. So it's looking at trying to make music that's for an already diverse population. And this idea of no like sense of hearing is like specific. So I was collaborating with Deaf Rave, who are a London-based events company who specialise in deaf events specifically for deaf people. So I was kind of working with them, and they've been like DJing for like 20 years, but they've never actually made music. I guess it kind of came from my undergrad when I was kind of exploring like music in like different kind of forms. So I think it was like my research module in maybe my second year at DBS, and I was just kind of looking into like music and the 5 senses, and then I kind of came across the idea of like vibrational music and like feeling it rather than hearing it, and then that's when I stumbled across like Deaf Rave and Troy. I was kind of really captivated by what they were doing, especially like being a drum and bass producer and like seeing these guys like do drum and bass, but just like through the like feeling of actually feeling it. So I hit up Troy to do an interview as part of my dissertation in my final year, and yeah, we've just been like chatting ever since. We became friends, and then coming onto the MA, I knew that's kind of where I wanted to take it. So I hit Troy up again, and I was like, let's make some music. So it kind of all stemmed from there. Working with Troy Lee and MC Geezer from Deaf Rave, like they just made their project happen, which was beautiful. And just kind of chatting to them straight away, they were really passionate about what I was doing. So just kind of having that energy inside on the project worked really well. So yeah, Troy Lee, MC Geezer, and also Hope, who got involved, and they just, yeah, they're brilliant to work with. Obviously, because it's relying more on vibration rather than like kind of oral hearing, there's really great like technologies that exist like sub packs and Wuja vests, which are kind of vests you wear, and they just like translate sub information into vibration. It's kind of like standing in front of like a massive sound system and feeling that bass like straight in you. So like that's the main technologies, and then it's obviously like playing off of like visual cues as well. So trying to do like visual music as well. So it's like trying to look at how music can interact through other senses rather than just hearing. I think after chatting to Troy from Deaf Rave, I think he kind of addressed that there was only like 2% of the music industry is deaf or disabled. So like there's a real need for projects like this to happen. And generally, I think there's kind of a misconception about deaf people that they can't experience music when like they really can, but it's just like a different way of experiencing it. Obviously getting like a deaf perspective into music was like the most important part, and the way I wanted to do it was not just kind of how I think it should be, is trying to use collaboration to always have like that deaf perspective. So actually kind of working on the project together in person rather than just kind of my thoughts on, oh, I need to make this really bassy tune, because like it doesn't always work like that. So there was kind of some ideas that I had about it that I thought, oh yeah, this will be great, this will work really well. And then I took it into the session and it was like, no, it's not working. So kind of collaborating and kind of testing these things all the time, and it kind of took 2 or 3 sessions to kind of get it right. But the main emphasis was on like, yeah, kind of like real low frequency stuff, and kind of trying to play with pitch lower than you usually would. So it's kind of different where you almost focus more on like the intricacies of the high end when you're producing normally, but producing kind of in a collaborative project with someone that's deaf is very different, because it's kind of like more on the pulse and the beat, and kind of getting like a real solid like low frequency bass that's got enough like kind of variation. Because something you don't really realise when you're like listening to music is how kind of constant and aggressive like a lot of the bass stuff is. So it's like finding gaps in it was like really important as well, rather than just kind of like smashing it out, which a lot of people do in dance music. After the MA, I've carried on working with them, and we've got plans to like make so much more music, and like we're definitely not stopping now. And We played a set at Death Ray Festival in Shoreditch last week, which was amazing because that was like kind of probably 95% deaf people there, and we were just playing our music that we made on my MA, and yeah, it went down really well. I first came to the DBS and did the electronic music production BA, which was really great because I knew I wanted to make music, but I wasn't really sure kind of where I wanted to take it. And then doing like, especially in my second and third year and doing like my dissertation and stuff kind of gave me that space to look into these things when I maybe like hadn't before. I'd maybe just like spent time making music rather than actually kind of thinking about the applications like wider in the world. So like with all the lecturers kind of giving us all these like outside influences kind of made me think how my music could maybe like work in a different scenario than it's been done before. There was like a really nice thread to doing the BA and then moving on to the MA, especially because I kind of knew what I wanted to do, doing that as my dissertation, taking it into the MA and just kind of having the freedom just to go and do it really, because you don't realise how little time you actually get to kind of do these things. So like having a space and having people just supporting you constantly, like pushing you to take it even further than you could was just, yeah, amazing.